So, we already talked about the problem to pose, why we chose that problem. So how to open the lesson. Okay.
Okay, this is something I have a question about. And which I know Carson's teaching it first, but in my class we always come in and they have like a routine. They like do a brain warm up every day.
Kind of their number talk.
Yeah, but they do like a sheet we go through together,
Ah.
and then they go back and put it away and come back to the carpet. So there's a lot of transition, and usually I don't see a lot of like schema before. I'm not saying that it's not always like this, but like usually because we've done a brain warm up and we have
Right.
such a small amount of time, we usually jump straight into CGI.
Right.
And like that's, I just like.
Do you think
bridging that
they'll
gap.
need schema activation for this problem? Some kind of.
I think that the groups, I'm like, I don't know how to do schema for groups because I haven't seen it. And I think it would be helpful because it will help them understand we're not adding or subtracting. But most of the schema I have seen is usually a video, like a subtraction video,
Right,
an adding video.
right.
And so I'm a little confused on.
Yeah, because on
That
our list
possibility.
we had, where is it? We had some possible things we might do would be some kind of visualizing, like the giant cookie, which one doesn't belong, videos, counting circle, scenarios, simulation. Those were some of the ideas we brainstormed last
Right.
time, but we didn't know it was going to be a group sub problem.
Right.
So, I wonder if, because I'm thinking about your connection to table groups, I wonder if that could be some kind of schema activation, or if you could just have kids get in groups and try to have them get in equal groups.
Okay.
Like, I don't know.
The only problem is that we have 23 students, so equal
Somebody will
groups.
be absent.
Yeah.
Hold on to that.
If there were 22, then they could
Yeah,
do.
like we have, I guess we have 21 today. But.
Okay, that still doesn't
Still
help,
doesn't- but they
you
can
could,
solve this
you can
problem.
either join or not join, that kind of
Yeah.
helps them to even things out,
Mhm.
you can, based on who's there. I mean, you could, and you, that could actually, it doesn't have to be even, because you could be like, oh, we have a problem, we're not even groups, but it still gets them thinking about groups. I'm not saying we have to do that, I'm just
I
saying.
think kindergarten would
that's
love
an
it
idea.
if I was just like, stand up. Okay, get in groups of 3. And like the
Oh,
sprayer on the
yeah.
And then you
five
could say, now
groups.
get in groups of 4.
Yeah.
Now get in groups of 2.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Just
That
so
would be-
that
I
it
like
brings
that.
I
them-
think they would have fun. My kids love to move around.
Yeah.
Okay, so fun is
So
good, but also
sporty.
would it be helpful for them in
I think
terms
it
of
would be helpful for
conceptualizing?
kindergarten, especially because we do a lot of partners.
Mhm.
Like they have like a station partner and they have a partner they greet. So I think it would be helpful to do the difference between just 2 and like bigger groups.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I think that's I think that would work really well. Okay, where are we on our planning template? Right here, opening. Okay, so opening the lesson, we're gonna have kids get in groups of different numbers. Do you think that'll work well for your class?
I
too?
think so. They always love to move around and.
Okay, on this template, it says notes to myself about what I'm looking for, but I think that's after you get into launching the problem. So we're gonna launch, so after the groups of, then you think that you'll launch the problem?
Or state the objective and then go into the.
Okay,
So
so I
just like
can.
we did
Mm-hmm.
in groups, you're gonna be counting groups of numbers, just
Mhm.
like we were in
I
groups
can count,
of people.
I recommend count, I can statement, I can count groups of numbers.
Mhm.
Oh, so that means maybe at some point when they are in groups, you need to have them count groups. It would probably be easiest by 2. Do they count by 2s? Do your kid? No.
I actually had a little girl come to me and say, I can count my twos. And she
Okay.
counted 2, 4, 6, 8. So yeah, they can count.
When
by
do they
twos.
learn?
She just did it on her
I don't
own,
know
I
when
guess.
that's, like,
She was really excited, but she could only count up to 8.
But you haven't really seen that in your class, counting
No,
by 2s.
it's mostly
Tens.
ones and tens. Fives,
Fives,
too.
yes,
Mhm.
that you said they're counting by 5s.
It's not something I see very often.
You have seen it though?
I seen my kids.
You've
count
seen
by
your,
five.
I knew somebody
Yeah.
said, okay, so maybe the last thing they do is get in groups of 5, and even though there's gonna be leftovers or not quite
Mhm.
enough, you can count then 5, 10, 15.
That's what
You
our
could
math
do
is
that.
tomorrow too, because we're also
Really?
working on tally marks.
Ah.
So-
They can do tally marks, so
Okay,
they know.
we
how to
can't.
count.
So they do know how to count
Mhm.
by 5, so maybe that might be an interesting way for them to make the
Yeah.
connection between counting by and groups of.
Mhm.
So maybe end with groups of 5 and count by 5s. Now, that's not necessarily gonna transfer to their problems.
Yeah.
Unless you wanna change so that one of them is by 5s. Like you could potentially change this one to 3 groups of 5.
That's true.
I have a groups of 5 problem.
Okay.
Yeah. I said there are 3
Or
problems.
this one could be 4 groups of, or we could start with one.
I'm kind of curious if you use that as your example, if that would kind of get them
That's good.
thinking about it. I think, talk to Ms. Benson, but I'm thinking it might be useful. I don't know whether to launch with that one.
Or to
Um,
maybe do a second one and see how they've maybe solved something different, and then see if they go back to this one.
Yeah,
Just do that.
like I think, I don't know.
I don't
This,
know if
this
they
will
do.
generate different kinds of problem solving. This would help them connect to that strategy of counting by 5s.
And then maybe they can
So
try
it's,
something different.
so it's just a matter of, do we want them to, like, make that connection? Is that a useful connection for
Mhm.
them? If it is, then you could start with that one, but if it would be more useful for them to think about it in other ways, then maybe start with this
Yeah.
one. So talk with her about what she thinks would be
Okay.
best for kids, kind of given the background, you know, given the
Mhm.
opener that you're gonna do, having them count by 5s. Which she think would be better for your
Yeah,
kids.
I like that idea, and then I like going to counting by 10s.
Okay.
And maybe trying something that's not what they normally do, like counting by 7s or 6.
Yeah, because then they're not gonna be counting by. See, this is where I'm not sure which is the best way to go, and that's why I think you should talk to Ms. Benson, because she knows your kids and
Mhm.
where they are in their mathematical thinking right now. Because this is gonna lead them to counting by, this one's gonna lead them to counting by, and then the strategy would fail for them on something like this, because they don't know how to count by 7s.
Mhm.
And so they would be trying a different strategy, which is great. I just don't know what's the best sequence.
Okay.
Do you have thoughts about that, Meredith?
Well, I started my problem, okay, I had written one and I asked them if this is okay, and they
Mhm.
said, well, I would start by doing smaller groups. So
Mhm.
she would say, I would start saying that you have 2 flowers with 3 or 4 ladybugs.
Mhm.
So she recommended that I do smaller numbers first,
Yeah.
rather than going straight to counting by 5s.
Yeah,
And those would
okay.
be more of the
And
challenging
you
problems.
talked about counting by 5s too.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
Mrs. Williams said to do counting by 5 one, and then to end with the counting by 10.
fine. Okay. Well, it sounds like you've already talked through that sequence. So you can talk about whether that sequence would be appropriate for your kids or not.
Okay.
And maybe adjust the sequence or not. But I think it would be interesting to add this one, to have this one,
Mhm.
since we'll be counting by groups of 5, it's just a matter of sequence.
How many problems do you usually do 3? Only do 3?
We do 3 and then there's nothing on the back. Sometimes we'll have a challenge problem just for kids who fly through these.
Every CGI sheet I've seen in kindergarten has 6.
Okay.
They don't usually finish all
Right.
6, which is something that I was going to ask about, because I remember Dr. Imbo was really big about how my kids in 2nd grade would never finish anything, and she was like, maybe you and Alex need to talk about doing less so they feel successful because they
Mhm.
finished a whole sheet.
I think as long as you preface it with, I put more problems on here than you'll have time to do.
And it doesn't really
That's not-
seem to
yeah.
bother them because they're so used to
Yeah.
the format.
I would just say, there's no way you're gonna finish 6, and then if somebody does, they'll be like super pumped.
Yeah.
But,
Okay,
I-
okay, cool.
but I trust Dr. Imbo's judgment on it.
I think it might have been those specific kids we had a
Okay.
really hard time with.
Yeah, that's right. They
It
were
was
a
a class,
challenging group
yeah.
and maybe needed to have some feelings of success, and
Yeah.
the class culture wasn't really set up for that at that point, maybe.
It was
So-
a hard class.
Yeah, So I hear. Okay, so we are gonna, oh, wait, with launching the problem, we talked about, are they gonna need a visual here? And if so, what is that gonna be? You're thinking you might do either an actual box, maybe not with actual cookies, because then they'll wanna
With
eat
something
them.
representing it.
Yeah,
Like a
yeah.
little circle calendar.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What about your ladybugs?
Go out and find some ladybugs.
Or just a visual
Just a
on the
picture,
smart
yeah.
board?
Yeah, probably just a picture.
Yeah, a picture would
Which
be
they're
great.
usually good with.
Yeah, I think a picture would work for you too, but
I'm-
if you,
yeah,
whatever you
I see
wanna
that.
do, either concrete or visual, as you're launching the problem. Okay, then you're gonna send them off to do one problem or more than one problem, or just work until you decide to call them back.
Sure.
So typically, how many problems do they work before the catch?
Typically one, and then
Okay.
they come back and discuss,
Yeah.
and then they go back and do
Yeah.
one or two more. So I'm thinking that's what I'm planning on
Mhm.
doing. Just so all the misconceptions are addressed before they do the rest of the
Mhm.
problems.
That's okay. That's what I've noticed that y'all have shared and like we've read, but I've always seen it where you give them all the time to get through as many as possible, and then we call them all back to the carpet and then start a discussion. So I don't know.
I've seen it both ways, but I think it depends on where students are in their understanding of the concept. And if this is practice on a concept they already know, then I think it would be safe to give them time and then
Mhm.
share. But I kind of feel like since this is a new approach, like a brand new concept for them, it might be
Give them
better
one
to
and
just
bring
give
it
them
back.
one and bring it back. And you want everybody to have at least a chance to dip their toe in and try to figure it out. So some kids might get more than one done. I know in your room, they do one and then they come back to the carpet and
Typically.
wait. So that's one way to do that, or they could just work until you tell them to come to the carpet, and some kids would have two done and others would have one done.
Yeah.
So,
I
Do you
just
have
say, I'm gonna have you go back to your seats for 3 minutes and see what you
Mhm.
can get done, and then I'll call you back and after then.
either way, what's your preference there? What do you think would work for your kids?
I think that would help with management, and just like
Okay.
no like downtime for the
Yeah.
students who finish really quickly.
Yeah, because sometimes that sitting on the carpet gets
Yeah.
to be a management
Mhm.
issue and quite honestly an engagement issue because their brains don't have anything to work
Mhm.
on. So,
It's less time for me to sort their strategies that they're using, or just to evaluate,
Mhm.
but I can do it.
you'll just have to do it while walking
Pretty
around,
quickly.
probably decide which ones, because I don't know that you have to sort all of them.
Yeah.
But you have to select. Remember that 5 part, the orchestrating the discussion, and the
Mhm.
select step is gonna be really important.
Yeah.
So
Whenever they bring it up to me, I'm just kind of.
I don't, maybe they're not gonna bring it up to you. Don't collect it. Okay, this is what I'm thinking, because you're gonna send them back to do more, so why, you don't wanna collect it, cause that's gonna take a
Just
long
to show
time.
their, I guess have them just bring their strategy like in
You
their
need to
head.
know you need to know who's gonna show,
Mhm.
and they could put their work on the dot camera.
Okay.
That's one way, or sometimes they put it on the whiteboard.
Yeah, we always put it. on
But
the
that means they
whiteboard.
have to redo their work.
Yeah. It might be easier to just be like, hey Zoe, will you bring your paper?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then have everyone face the board.
Or they can all come to the carpet for that part.
Well, yeah,
Proximity,
come back
right.
to the carpet, but then everyone turn to face
Yeah,
the board when they're
yeah.
at the carpet.
Right.
So we shared. Okay.
Yeah. So that way, there's not a lot of downtime while they redo their problem,
Mhm.
and there's not a lot of downtime while they're sitting waiting for everybody to
My
finish
kids
one.
couldn't do that.
Yeah,
They won't come back to the carpet. They'll
Yeah.
run.
yeah. And even if they would, you're not using their time wisely.
Right.
We want to use their time wisely too.
Yeah.
So, okay, so as you are thinking about selecting, you already kind of predicted a few ways that kids might solve the problem.
Mhm.
So you're going to be selecting, we talked about different ways of selecting, like my favorite, no, we talked about that.
Mhm.
That you might want to address a no if there seems to be a
If someone
misconception.
adds them or just doesn't.
Yeah,
understand,
yeah,
only
'cause-
help them.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do that first. I
No.
think last time we talked about one or two that demonstrate an effective strategy.
But it's not getting them to the right answer.
Well, first
That's
do
not-
one that is, one or
yes.
two that are getting them to, that's an effective strategy for getting them to the right answer. And then my favorite no could be a complete misconception,
Mm-hmm.
or it could be a strategy that works, but they did a miscounting or something.
Yeah.
I think that depends on what students do.
And then showing them the most common strategy validates all the other students. who
Right,
also do
so
that.
that's the first one to show,
Mhm.
right? The first one is the most common effective strategy.
Most effective.
Well, most common, most effective. So the most kids use it, and they also get the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
So look for the most common, and then if there's another one that's another useful way, effective
Mhm.
way, and then maybe a misconception. So would 3 be too many to show?
No, I think that's perfect.
Okay. So you show 3 and then you release them back to their desk for more problem solving time.
Mhm.
And then do you catch them again at the end?
I want to for this
Okay.
lesson, just so I can see if any of them tried a new strategy that
Mhm.
maybe they saw their friend
Mhm.
had used, or just to discuss what they understand, what they still don't know, what's confusing. Just kind of get some feedback on, since this is a new concept,
Yeah.
just some feedback on what they talk about.
Right. And then we talked about doing some kind of exit, self-evaluation, or it seemed like we came up with a good list of those, but I
Yeah,
is
it's
it on there?
exit
Yeah.
ticket, turn and
Okay.
talk, I still wonder.
Oh, yeah. Restating the goal, returning the scheme activation.
I probably won't do an exit ticket, just because they take so
Yeah,
long to write.
Yeah, I agree.
But maybe a turn and talk
Mhm.
for like a minute and a half.
What's
and
your prompt?
Like,
So-
what was easy, what was challenging, or just some sort of self-evaluation. Or, I'm just thinking out loud here.
Yeah. What did you learn about counting groups of numbers? Would that be too esoteric for them to?
Could you say like what was something new that you
What's
learned?
something new that you learned?
Yeah. I like that. I think that would, I'm afraid if you say what was easy, what was hard, I'm not sure they're gonna,
Right.
I'm just trying to envision them.
No, like my 6th graders had trouble telling me what was easy and what was
Yeah,
hard.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So it's gonna be, what did you learn?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so do you think from the things we've talked about, you could each construct a lesson using the MAT lesson plan format? You ready for that?
For
Yeah.
standards, what would you like for us to do?
Just put an I can statement.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, you could do the KUDs, I think you could do
Right.
the KUDs,
Yes.
that would be helpful. But just put NA.
Okay.
Or you could put the second grade standard, whatever you prefer.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause it
What is definitions, like?
That's like group, what is a group?
What is a group?
Like, we decided there weren't any words that
Yeah.
were really complicated for them, but that kind of got us to the idea of groups of kids, which
Yeah.
I think is gonna be a nice way to get the lesson launched.
Yeah, I agree.
Do your kids say an I can statement? Okay.
Not.
Do you say it out loud?
Do you say it?
I've never said an I can statement.
Really?
Yeah. It's how I started class every day in 6th grade, but
That's how we did in middle school
you
too,
know,
but.
just be like, today we're going to talk about groups of numbers. And that's really how Mrs. Williams introduces the new concept.
Whatever you feel like there's value, I think, to having an I
Right.
can statement, but the reason I'm thinking about this is because I talked to Paige and Emma, who just came back from Ireland, and she
Mhm.
said they never, ever stated an objective, and yet they felt like the meeting was purposeful.
Yeah.
I don't know, something for you to ponder.
Okay.
If you feel like it would be useful for them and maybe get them interested, that might be a way to draw them into the
They would
lesson.
definitely, they're so used to me like saying part of it and they repeat it that it would definitely be something easy and then I could be like, okay, so
Okay,
what are
like-
groups? How
like
would you?
choral repetition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll
Yeah.
do it. 'cause
Okay. Yes,
Set-
give it a try. see
Do a
what-
very, like, explicit objective.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is something brand new for them.
Mhm.
I think
We're
it
not
might be helpful.
adding numbers really, we're not subtracting, we're counting groups. So I think
I can count groups of numbers, and then when you get the kids start, that'll lead right into you having a group. I
Mhm.
think that'll be a natural progression of the lesson. I think it's going to be a great lesson.
Yeah.
Okay, so will you each do a lesson plan and send it to me?
Mhm.
And Thursday, we're
Thurs-
teaching on Friday, but Thursday,
We're doing our pre-observation on Thursday.
Is that what okay, so we're good. We don't need to do any pre-observation on Thursday. We'll just meet on Friday morning, do our pre-observation, and then you'll teach the lesson, and then we'll get together afterwards to talk about it. Okay. I'm glad you remembered that email I sent last
Mhm.
night, because I didn't. All right, I think we got it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Oh, I should have another group here.
Yeah, I think I heard them outside.
Okay.
Oh.